Hi, everybody, and welcome to the STEMinista Project live career interview this evening. We are live on both Facebook and YouTube for a very special live career interview with not one, but two STEMinista role models. Before we get to the interview portion of today's program, as always, this is an interactive program where we are connecting you with role models that are a part of the STEMinista Project database. The STEMinista Project is an initiative here at the Michigan Science Center where we connect 4th through 8th grade girls to women in STEM and expose them to opportunities to learn more about STEM careers and expose them to real-world STEM concepts. I work here at the Michigan Science Center on behalf of the STEMinista Project, and we're really excited to bring you a very cool opportunity today. Now, we said we're interviewing not just one, but two STEMinista role models. In just a moment, we're going to be joined by Kelly Gilkey, who is a project manager and biomedical engineer at NASA Glenn. And we're also going to be joined by Amanda Gilley, who is a functional safety engineer at Denso. And what's really special about this program is that Kelly and Amanda are actually childhood friends, and they are going to join us in just a moment to tell us a little bit more about themselves and their path to their current STEM careers. Now, keep in mind, as always, that if you have questions for Kelly or Amanda, you can feel free to type them in the chat. And after we're done with the interview portion of our live stream tonight, we'll have an opportunity for you to ask those questions live, and Kelly and Amanda would absolutely love to see those. So Kelly and Amanda, thank you so much for being here with us this evening. I'm definitely excited to hear about your personal experiences and your journey to STEM. So come on in and let's get started. Awesome. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Kelly. Thanks so much for being here. And at this point, I'm going to let the two of you take it away.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So Kelly and I are both extremely excited to be here with you. As Anna mentioned, we have been childhood friends. We met each other at the age of 2. We were in an early preschool program at Radford Union in Michigan. So let's go ahead and get started. So Kelly, can you tell us more about you? Where are you from? Tell us about your disability, where you work, and what are some of your hobbies?
Yeah, sure. It's great to see everybody. I grew up just outside of Detroit in Bloomfield, Michigan, and I currently live outside of Cleveland, Ohio, where I work as a manager for the Human Research Program at NASA Glenn Research Center. As Amanda mentioned, we met at an oral program for the deaf when we were very young. I have a profound hearing loss in both ears. I've had it since birth, and I wear 2 cochlear implants. I got one back in 2011 and the other one in 2017. What about you, Amanda?
Hi, thank you, Kelly. So I'm from the Detroit suburbs as well, and I live in Detroit right now. So when I was 2, I contracted a rare form of spinal meningitis. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I became deaf as a result of getting spinal meningitis. So I do have 1 cochlear implant. I will show you guys what it looks like. So it looks like a ciliate in this part, and there's a magnet inside of the head, and the sound transmits through the electrode inside of our cochlea. So it's a different way of hearing for us. And it's a pretty awesome technology now that we're talking about some. So I kind of mentioned, we've been deaf since we were 2, and right now I work for Denso. I work for one of the biggest automotive suppliers in the world, and I have a little girl who is 4. So it keeps us very busy. So what are some of your hobbies, Kelly? What do you like to do for fun?
Oh, yeah, so I'm also a mom. I have 2 boys that are 12 and 10. They keep my husband and I very busy. And yeah, my hobbies, I don't have very many right now. I played a piano. I played since I was about 4. I enjoy walking my dog. And when I was in college, I used to play roller hockey. So those are my hobbies.
Fun. So for me, I'm like Kelly, I don't have a lot of free time for hobbies, but I try to run. I love to read books, And when I have time, my favorite thing to do is to travel. You know, I just love history and architecture and learning about different cultures and languages in the world. And, you know, now that my daughter is in school, she's 4, I have a little bit more free time, so I'm really excited to help you guys learn more about STEM, what Kylie and I do, and to be a role model for you guys and to mentor. So we're excited for this opportunity.
Yeah. So Amanda, what did you want to be when you were growing up? What kind of inspired you to go into a STEM field?
You know, it's interesting. Everybody has a different journey. Sometimes you know early on exactly what you want to do. Sometimes you have to go through experience in life and you don't quite know what you want to do until you're older. It's different for everybody. In my case, I knew from a very young age, I would say by the time I was 7 or 8, I knew I wanted to be an engineer. My dad and many of my family friends worked for Ford Motor Company, but I got to visit them a lot at work and at the electronics lab. I'm like, that's really cool. I want to do that. It just seemed fun and cool. What's interesting to me growing up, I didn't know that many female engineers. It seemed to be a guy thing. I knew a lot of men that were engineers. I just thought, I think I can do that. Why not? You know, and it was just something that I figured I would try. And, you know, I think after a while, sometimes you wonder if a dream that you had as a child is still true when you are older, like high school, college age. So let me tell you a funny story about when I was in high school. I got my first car. It's, you know, that feeling when you are able to get your first car, you guys will get to experience that someday. But I came home from school, and this was before I had a cochlear implant. I had 2 hearing. I just thought there was something really, you know, loud, a thumping in the back of my car, and it was just like really loud. And I'm like, I don't think that is normal. So I'm 16 years old, and my dad was like, there's something wrong with the car, why don't you figure it out? And I'm like, no, Dad, yeah, you know all about cars, you fix it for me, please. So my dad looked underneath my car and he just busts out laughing. And I'm like, what's so funny about my car? And he just laughing and laughing and laughing. And I'm like, what is so funny about my car? He just looks at me and he goes, you want to be an engineer, Amanda? You fix it, you figure it out. You know, it's kind of scary when you are given a problem that you have no idea how to solve. Long story short, I figured out how to remove my carburetor, which was something underneath my car. I figured out how to remove that. And it gave me confidence to solve that. We can do hard things, we can do new things, we can learn how to problem solve. And I think that's what helped to motivate me that, yeah, I do want to go into engineering. I want to figure out how to solve problems and how to apply them. So that's what got me excited. What about you, Kylie?
Well, I didn't really know quite what I wanted to be. I was thinking of maybe being a doctor or an engineer or a teacher. I really, really loved science. I struggled with math. It did not come easy to me. But I remember when I was in high school, I stumbled upon an article that alluded to astronauts sometimes wearing glasses. And it just kind of got me thinking, you know, if astronauts that don't have perfect eyesight are still able to go up into space, maybe someday astronauts with other challenges, like maybe a hearing loss, might also be able to go to space. So I reached out to a couple of people at NASA, and to my surprise, they responded. And we had some back and forth on email, and they encouraged me to think about applying for an internship when I was in college, which I did, and here I am. So
it's pretty awesome when you think of a large company that Wow, they actually respond to you. That it just goes to show that there's a human element behind some of these big, awesome companies that some of us work for, that they do reach out and want to inspire other people to consider a career in space or other industries. I think that's pretty awesome, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Kelly, speaking of NASA, can you tell us about a day in the life of the project manager for NASA? What is it that you like or love about your job?
Well, I go to a lot of meetings. I have a fantastic team of people that work with me. And we're really focused in the human research program on keeping astronauts healthy and making sure that they're able to do their job when they're up in space. So that's the focus of the work that we do. I have biomedical engineers, mechanical engineers, mathematicians. There's a lot of different flavors of people that work with me. I also look for ways to bring new talent, new skill sets to the team, and ways to help NASA engage with other partners in the community, whether they're, colleges, schools, universities, hospitals. So that takes up the majority of my time when I'm at work. And I love working for NASA. Every day is different. We have opportunities sometimes where astronauts will come in after they get back from a mission and talk to us about the science that they did, some of their high points from the mission. So it's just a special place to be. What about you, Amanda? What's it like being a functional safety engineer at Denko?
Well, a lot of people don't know what a functional safety engineer does, but what we do is we focus on, electronic design in our automobile. So that a lot of times when something goes wrong, in the vehicle, it can happen, and we want to focus on how do we problem solve and prevent these dangerous events from happening. So, for example, when you are driving on the highway and the cruise control suddenly goes off and your brakes get activated, the driver behind you might not be paying attention and might accidentally rear-end you. So we want to make sure that the driver, the human transfer of control is clearly defined, that these unintended situations do not occur. So it's very important from a safety perspective to make sure that we understand dangerous situations and how can we design them for safety, how can we prevent them from happening. So it's a very small area of electronics engineering where we focus on how do we design for safety? How can we make sure that a dangerous situation does not happen when the car is on the road? It's a pretty interesting problem solving, when you have to work with designer, and so that's basically what I do. I love it because it's challenging. The answers are not always easy, so we have to problem solve from a technical viewpoint. And how do we make our design safer for the next generation design, or when we implement new features or functions in the vehicle, how do we make sure that they are safe for the first time? Because we don't want anybody to have a bad driving experience, right? And, that's the best part about our job is that we can immediately see the impact of our work and the fear, millions of cars all over the world right now. So the best part about my job is my team. We expanded my team to include cybersecurity experts and software experts. So we all have very different viewpoints, mine coming from a safety background. And it's very exciting for all of us to work together and collaborate and problem solve. How do we make the car safe, secure, and defect-free from software bugs? So it's a very big problem in the future, and it is exciting to work on that.
So Amanda, who inspires you? Do you have any role models?
That's a really good question. I don't think I have any role models right now. I think I just got inspiration from a lot of different people, from a lot of different things. So for me, when I was growing up, I got a lot of inspiration from my mom because she was my biggest advocate, fighting for me to be able to go to school, to make sure that I had access, in the sense of I lip read. I don't think we mentioned this. Carly has a different way of listening, and I am more of a lip reader than a listener. So we all have different skill sets with that. So I lip read, so she would have to make sure that I could see my teacher, my college professor, make sure that I was doing well in school. So because of my mom and my parents, I am here, today to be able to say, hey, the engineer, that people can do this too, women can do this too, so it just kind of inspired to know that our parents really worked hard for us to get to this place. And today, I got a lot of inspiration from the other engineers, especially young women and young children, just be excited about ready to try new things, like the problem solve, how to build an obstacle course with a robot and program your robot to get through an obstacle course and teach the young girls how to do that and get excited about it. It's amazing. I think that's what inspires me to do well at my job and to, do the best that I can do as an engineer. That's what inspires me, is working with young children, because you guys are the future and we're going to have more problems, more challenging problems, and we need bright young minds to be passionate about it in the future. So what about you, Kylie? Do you have any role models or what inspires you to be a STEM career?
Yeah, so when I think about role models, there's personal role models and professional role models. So like you, my mom was definitely a key person as a young child growing up. She had 3 children that had special needs. My brother and sister and I all have hearing loss, and they also had some other health challenges. And she did everything she could to make sure that we would be independent and able to do whatever career we chose when we grew up. So she and my dad worked very hard to make sure we had access to the right hearing aids, the right technology we needed in the classroom so that we could learn effectively and be where we are today. And certainly I mentioned that I started my career at NASA as a college student. I was actually 19 when I started working for NASA, and I had a variety of mentors that worked with me and just inspired me, encouraged me. So I tried to pay that forward, being a mentor for younger interns that are now working at NASA and going out and speaking at schools, so that I can kind of get some of that enthusiasm that you bring to your teachers and your classrooms.
So Carly, can you tell us what it is like to be a professional worker in a STEM field, or as a mom who is deaf? So what kind of accommodation do you use at home or at work?
Yeah, sure. So it's interesting. When I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be in college, I remember looking around, and in biomedical engineering, there's actually a lot of women in that field. It's kind of a unique engineering field. It was kind of a surprise to me that some of my friends that were in mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or aerospace engineering, there weren't a lot of girls or women in those fields. So that was kind of eye-opening for me to realize that. And it definitely inspired me to be more engaged with encouraging girls to pursue their dreams in science or engineering or math or technology, because we need you out here in the field working with us. You need a seat at that table. In terms of, juggling, working with being a mom, NASA's been a wonderful employer. They're very accommodating. I actually worked part-time for about 8 or 9 years when my kids were younger. And I'm very grateful to the agency for giving me that opportunity to do that. And then in terms of accommodations that I use, I'm sure the folks on the line can see there's some captioning coming through. That is something I use at work for telecons or for big meetings. I also use a Bluetooth connection that helps me hear on Zoom or on the phone. And NASA's been wonderful at giving me those accommodations. So what about you, Amanda? What accommodations do you use, and what is it like being a mom working in a STEM field?
I think you gave a very good description of what it's like to put the accommodation that work is pretty similar to me. As a professional, early on in my career, there were that many other women that I was surrounded by, and we're talking 20 years ago. And now it's super exciting to see more and more women going into some field, such as science or engineering and math, and see them come into an automotive company. And it's very exciting to be able to see that I'm not the only woman in the room. And I might be the only deaf person in the room, but I'm not the only woman. So it's, been a very fascinating journey. And I'm excited to see more diversity in the next 10 years, very excited about that. So as a professional, in terms of accommodation, as I mentioned, I lip read. So when I was in high school, I had a challenge in my AP classes because I'm trying to listen to my teacher, but I had to look down and take notes. And I would completely miss everything that was being said while I was taking my own notes. So I'm getting maybe 50% of what my teacher is saying in my AP classes. So I struggled for a couple of months until my parents got some help to get me a note taker. So can you imagine a note taker that had no science or technology background trying to take notes to me? It was pretty comical, but they did very well. So that's how I got by in high school. And when I was in college, when I went to Purdue University, they were fantastic. They actually had stenographers or court reporters on staff. So what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with that technology, it's basically a keyboard where you type phonetically, and it got translated through software so that it looks like caption in real time on a laptop screen or a computer screen, and you could get like a transcript of your notes. So that was a lifesaver in college. So that's how I got through college, so that I could look at the professor. And, again, maybe I have 70% retention of what I'm reading. Then I have my notes and I would go through my transcript notes at night. So I had a lot of late night reading notes. And it's funny because you get so used to having that technology to support you as a deaf individual. I remember I had a physics class in college, and I had an incredibly difficult time reading my professor because of the facial hair, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this class. Okay. Thankfully, I had a transcriptor, a court reporter next to me. And what was funny about that, I wasn't the only one that was having trouble understanding. There were many people that were rushed to sit next to me in class so they could read my caption on my laptop screen. That's how we are survive physics. So just so you know, even normal people have a hard time sometimes. So anyway, like Holly said, technology has been amazing. Like in the pandemic, automated captions have come a long way in the last 5 years. They're not doing so well with my voice. So the automated captions don't work with my tonality or my quality of voice. They get pretty garbage, but with my coworker, it actually works great. So, I'm able to use the automated caption for the most part. And then for my bigger meetings, I do have a transcriber or a court reporter come in and take notes for me for my really important meetings that work. So those are my accommodations. So as a professional, sorry for the long explanation. As a professional, it's the best part about working in some field is the diversity. The different schools of thought. We all come from different backgrounds. We all have different experiences in life. And it's so important to have women's voices in the boardroom. It's so important to have women's voices in the media room. And it's so important to inspire the next generation of girls to go into some field because our voice matters. It doesn't matter if you have a disability or not, you can make a difference in the technology that we are developing and problem solving and coming up with new solutions for society. It's a pretty amazing place to be in. And that's what I love about being a professional in STEM.
Yeah. So, Amanda, do you have any advice or things for the girls in the audience to just consider and think about?
As Kelly mentioned earlier, sometimes you know right away from a young age what you want to do. Sometimes you don't, and that's okay. I think the goal is to have fun in learning new things. So get interested, try new things. Don't be afraid to try something new. Talk about when I had to fix my car. That was really scary because it was new. But you feel so empowered that you try something new that you have never tried before. And I think that is how you get excited about STEM, whether it's math or science or, writing code or building robots. There are so many things that you can get inspired by. But I encourage you to find something that you enjoy and that you have fun with. Another thing is I really encourage, I really like STEM as a degree field in the sense of an engineering degree, a science, technology, and math degree. I really am a strong proponent for any of those degrees. The reason why is I really do think that it teaches you how to problem solve, how to think about the world differently, how to approach problems and come up with creative solutions. And sometimes you just can't come up with a solution by yourself because maybe my background is safety. But if I work with a security engineer and a software expert, and the three of us can put our heads together and solve a problem, that's magic, And we all have different backgrounds, and you can do so many different things with that. It doesn't have to be automotive or aerospace. There's so many different things that you can do. And maybe 10 years from now, maybe I don't want to be an automotive, maybe I want to teach, who knows? But you have a great background to live your life and drive your career in whatever direction you choose to. That's what I think is the best part about being at some field or career. What about you, Kelly?
Yeah, I know we're getting kind of short on time, so I'll keep this brief. But yeah, really, I think being flexible is really important. I don't think Amanda and I envisioned what we're doing now when we decided that we wanted to be engineers when we were at college. So just be open to trying new things in your career. I like to think of my career journey as a river. There's going to be some obstacles, some little rocks that might bump me around a little bit. Embrace the chance to try something different. You might be surprised, you might really like it. But definitely don't be afraid to keep learning, don't be afraid of change, and just kind of follow your passion, and you will enjoy going to work every day.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing so much about your personal experience and kind of what made your journey so unique. If you are out there in the audience and you have any questions that you want to ask Amanda or Kelly, reminder that you can type those questions in the chat, and you can we will ask those to Amanda and Kelly. But question for you both is that if students do a follow-up that they want to do with you, or they want to stay connected to you outside of this interview, how could they do that? I know that we have some information. So both Kelly and Amanda have both shared a couple ways that you can connect with them, but you can find both of them not only on the STEMinista Project website, listed on our database of amazing role models, women in all sorts of STEM careers, engineers, doctors, inventors, but you can also stay connected to them on the ways that are listed on this slide too. So Kelly, you can find on NASA Glenn's Instagram. I know they post all sorts of really awesome updates related to space exploration and Kelly's field specifically. So you can find them on Instagram at NASA Glenn. It's listed right here on the slide. And then Amanda also shared a link to her Instagram as well, which is at Gilly Amanda. So again, both of those Instagram handles are listed on the slide, and we'll also be posting them in the chat. I don't see any questions coming in the chat just yet, but lots of people responding to, very thankful for you both sharing your journey with them. Jill Fleming says that they love the way you were both encouraging young girls and have just really loved the dialogue back and forth. And I know that I've enjoyed it as well. And it must be easy when you're talking to your childhood best friend too. What a unique and kind of special experience. But special announcement for all of our STEMinistas tuning in is that definitely, as well as staying connected to Kelly and Amanda, stay connected to the STEMinista Project as well. So if you don't already follow us on Instagram, stay tuned there for exciting announcements. We love to spotlight our role models and tell you all about their amazing accomplishments and journeys and ways that you can connect with them outside of these live programs. But we also, at the beginning of this month, launched an application to join the inaugural STEMinista statewide cohort. So if you visit the STEMinista Project website or either of our social media channels, you can find more information about what it would mean to join the statewide cohort. This cohort is for middle school girls from all across the state to join a virtual training program where we will be connecting you with amazing STEM role models like Kelly and Amanda, and connecting you to other girls who share your interest and your passion for developing STEM experiences. So visit us online, apply if you are interested. We would absolutely love to have you. And thank you again so much to Kelly and Amanda for being here with us today. A big thank you for sharing your experience, and we definitely hope that we'll stay connected with you both in the future.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll see you all next time.